Master Corporal Stadinsky, come on in. How's it going?
Good, Warren.
Good, have a seat. Catch that hockey game last night?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Wasn't that something else?
It was.
Very exciting finish to it.
I thought it was going into overtime, actually.
I thought so too, but they pulled her out in the last second there. I couldn't believe it. But anyways, the reason you're here, as you know, we like to ensure that the maximum number of trainees we can get through this school is our whole reason of being here. And that's why you've been asked to come in here, because I've had a couple of referrals from two of the other instructors saying they've had a couple of problems with you a little bit in class. And you also failed the PO 40201, and you passed it on the rewrite. But I just come in to see what the problem might be. So is there anything on the course that you're having a problem with? Is there a problem with the course?
Not that I could see there weren't.
No? Well, I just want to go over a few things and see what you have to say, and we'll just look at a couple of areas. So you've been in the Canadian Forces how long now?
Going on 13 years.
13 years. Don't mind me. I'm just going to make a couple notes.
Okay.
And I noticed that you're PPCLI. I take it you wanted to be that trade?
Not likely.
Oh, really?
No, it wasn't my first choice.
What was your first choice?
Right now I'm waiting for a remuster for supply, so it would have been supply, I guess.
Oh, so you were looking to get into supply. You couldn't get in when you first joined?
No, I didn't want to be an infanteer.
So you're looking to go to the supply side of the house. And how long you had your remuster in now?
It's this is the second time I've applied, and it's been around 6 months now.
Oh, okay. All right. And the basic mountain ops course, how do you find that going for you?
I really wasn't paying attention much about it. I'm waiting for my dates, and that's about it.
So you're not very interested in the course?
Not overly, no.
Oh, all right. You know, of course, that as a PPCLI guy, basic mountain ops is one of the prerequisites for our soldiers in order to keep them up to snuff with all the aspects of the infantry. So how's everything going with the instructors? You find your instructors to be all right?
For most guys, they seem to be picking on me a wee bit, single me out, criticizing my work a wee bit, but...
Oh, is that right? Why would you feel like that?
They always seem to be criticizing my work.
Oh, okay. All right. How's things with your peers? You get along well with the guys on your course?
Great, yeah.
Yeah? You guys hang out at all together or anything like that?
Most of us were out partying last night.
Okay. Whereabouts you head?
Oh, we're down at the crossovers.
Ah, okay. What about studying? How much studying do you put in every evening?
Not much. Like I said, we usually go out partying, so...
Yeah, there's a lot of information being passed on the course, so, you know, you gotta make sure you keep up on top of that kind of stuff. When do you usually study?
If I have time before I go out at night.
Oh, is that right? And what time would that be?
Oh, around 4:30.
Is that before or after supper?
I usually have supper later. So.
Oh, okay. So it's like almost as soon as you get home from the course.
Yeah.
You go over something that you're... How long do you spend going over the stuff?
Well, it depends what I'm doing that night. If there's a hockey game or something on, I study for maybe an hour, sometimes half hour.
Okay. What was your academic background like in school?
Good.
Yeah? You completed high school?
Yeah.
How were your marks?
In the mid-80s.
Mid-80s, so you did quite well in high school. And did you have to study hard for that, or did it just kind of come naturally to you?
Just kind of came natural.
Okay. Did you have any post-secondary education?
No.
No, okay. And I take it you're in good health?
Yeah.
Being on the mountain ops course is definitely an asset to be in good health. What about your family? Is there any problems in your family that might be affecting the way you're working on this course?
Not really. They're just like me, waiting time for me to remuster.
So you're married?
Yeah, married, 2 children.
Parents are good?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, great. That's good. So you just said you were hanging out with your peers there, and you were going on the going out to the bars and that with them, so I take it you have a pretty active social life.
Yeah.
All right. I hope that gets spread out between the family and the course mates.
Oh, all the time.
Okay, so there's no conflicts there between the.
As far as I know, no.
Oh, good. So you got a good social life. How's things going money-wise?
No, money's fine.
Yeah, it's pretty tight being a young guy and especially having two children and a wife.
Well, the wife's working too, so.
Oh, so she has a decent job? Yeah? Well, that's a good thing because finance can be a big burden on a person these days. Anything else that might be bothering you or?
No, well, not really, Warren. I would like
No?
some dates, but
You've mentioned that before already. I'd just like to go over and summarize what we talked about a bit, and then we'll just touch on some areas that you tend to have some concerns with. So you said you've been in the Canadian Forces for 13 years now, and you're happy to be in the Canadian Forces. It's what you wanted to do. And then we talked about you being an infanteer, and you said you have a remuster and to go to supply tech. And you've been waiting for 6 months now.
correct.
And you seem to be very, very occupied on this remuster. It seems to be weighing very heavily on your mind. Are you spending a lot of time thinking about that?
Most of my time at work, yeah.
Is that right? Okay. And the course itself, the Mountain Ops course, you're not really concerned with the training you're taking right now because you don't see how that'll have any dealings with what you want to do as a supply tech.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's the way you feel about it. You felt the instructors may be trying to single you out a bit and picking on you a bit for your work in the class.
Yeah.
Do you think you're putting the amount of effort you could put into that?
Oh, probably not, but
No? So maybe a little bit more effort there. You wouldn't feel that way about the instructors. You get along great with your peers. You guys actually hang out together and you've known these guys for a few years. Now your study habits, you said you like to study around 4:30 in the evening and usually only about half an hour to an hour at night, depending on what was going on that particular evening. All right. You did well in school, mid-80s. Didn't have to study that hard. Things just kind of came naturally to you when you applied yourself. No health problems. Family's all fine. You definitely keep a busy social life between your buddies and your family. No problems with the finances. The wife's out working. There's nothing else to bother you. So with all that in mind, what I see as the problem on this course, or why you've been referred to me, is, and the other instructors mentioned this to me as well, and I'm getting the same sort of feeling sitting here talking to you. You have a bit of an attitude problem. I would take it, because you're looking forward to getting this remuster. And it tends to be taking up a lot of your time. You're spending a lot of your time worried about this remuster. So with that, you're showing a lot of attitude and not really having a genuine care for what's actually happening on the course. Would I be too far off base by actually saying that?
oh, you're pretty close. I feel like I'm wasting my time on these courses.
Yeah, that's what I thought was happening. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the possible consequences if you keep on this path that you're on now. The first one, of course, being recourse. Now, I know you really don't care if you get recourse from this course, but let me just tell you what will happen if you do. Mountain Ops being a course very important to your career as an infanteer, it's not going to look good if you get recourse from this course when the board sits to make their selection for your remuster. You could possibly get passed over because of the fact that you either failed this course and you were recoursed, especially if we put in you were recoursed because of attitude problems. So it's something I think you better keep in mind for that. As well, we talk about remuster. Now, obviously, you already have a remuster in at this time. So that seems to be what you're waiting for, is to get your remuster to supply tech. And as I also mentioned when we talked about recourse, they're not going to select you during the board phase of the remusters if you don't do as well as you can in your trade. Because obviously every trade wants to get the best possible personnel in that trade as they can. With that in mind, you do well in the course, then obviously they're going to select you for the remuster and you'll be well on your way where you want to be. The third one we look at is release. This obviously is a very drastic action, but in today's forces and downsizing and everything of that nature, it's a very real possibility. We're looking to get our forces to the numbers that we want them to be at, and in order to do that, well, we're releasing personnel that are not the cream of the crop, so to speak. So what do you think you can do in order to improve this situation? I want you to come up with some possible solutions for the problem that we see, being your attitude and you're not really applying yourself.
I'll start putting some more effort into my classes there and being a wee bit more cooperative during the classes.
Okay, anything else you think you could do?
I might respect the instructors a wee bit more.
Okay. What about your study habits?
I'll try to fit in some more hours of studying throughout the week.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. Drive home the material we're trying to get through to you. Those are all good suggestions, and I'll just go with some of those if you don't mind. When we talk about more effort, put in more effort, it means an all-around total effort. And what I mean by that is you're actually going to have to pay attention in class, work with the others, with your peers, the same way they work, and pick up the material as quick as everybody else. And I think if we do that, we can get you back on track. And just by doing that, you will be showing more respect to the instructors. That will come naturally as we work on the first problem. And because of some of the technical nature of some of the rope work and some of the things we need you to study, you're definitely going to have to put in more time at night. At minimum, an hour. I want 1 hour out of you every night after supper. And what you do after that is up to you. We'll see how it progresses from that. Are there any questions on what it is I'm asking you to do here?
No one.
Right on. So what I want out of you, I want a definite commitment that you're actually going to do this stuff. It's going to be very important that you do this. Is there anything you need me to do in order to make sure that this can take place?
Well, if you could get me some dates on my remuster, I'll be putting 110% into the classrooms.
Well, with that in mind, I don't know if I can get you any dates, but I can tell you what I can do for you. I can definitely check into and find out at what stage of the game your remuster's at right now. So just go grab yourself a cup of coffee, relax, take a few minutes to think about what we talked about, and head on up to your next class, because it's going to start in about 15 minutes or so.